This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations, please stand by. Hello and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Learning Net for April 8th, 2026. It's a great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics in general. And thankfully, we have plenty of combined experience and expertise. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. My name is Daron. I'm this evening's net control. Tonight we'll be taking your check-ins, comments, questions, updates, and more. We meet every Wednesday except the third Wednesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on 145.490 and 448.625. Tonight we're also on our EchoLink repeater, 449.350. All of those have a negative offset. You can also follow along if you have an AllStar Link app, an account on AllStar Link node 42851. And if you have an EchoLink app on your computer or smartphone, EchoLink node 4140. You can contact us via Elmer at w0tx.org, most social media at Denver Radio Club. We also stream and archive most of our nets and meetings on youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. So if you'd like to see behind the scenes of the net or visual context, that is an additional way to view and participate in the net. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? All check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. That would be the first letter after the number and the call sign. If you can, please try to use ITU phonetics for your call sign and indicate if you have traffic questions as you check in. You can follow along with check-ins at w0tx.org/check-in. So again, as a reminder, our EchoLink repeater 449.350 is interlinked with this 145.490 repeater 448.625. So any audio that is transmitted from that repeater is received on our repeater. Anything transmitted from our repeater is received over on the EchoLink repeater. With that, if your call suffix begins with letters A through M, alpha through Mike, please check in now. All right, might be a short net here this evening. We're taking all check-ins then, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. If you'd like to check in, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes, A through Z. Please call now. This is K1DBC Net Control. This is the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. Great place to learn about ham radio and some topics. If there's anybody out there who'd like to check in, we have not heard from anybody just yet. A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. We're taking all check-ins, A through Z. Please call now. This is K1DBC for the Denver Radio Club LearnerNet. Is there anybody out there who'd like to check in? We're taking all call signs A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Otherwise, we may start to wrap the net up here. But this is K1DBC Net Control. Go right ahead.
0TX repeater.
This is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club LearnerNet. I'll leave it open for another minute or so here, but having not heard any check-ins at all, that's all right. Maybe I just didn't get the memo or something, but this is K1DBC Net Control. Anyone that wants to check in, we're taking all check-ins A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Please call now. We had a check-in over on our YouTube live stream. Gary, really do appreciate that. KC3 and HE. Anyone else who'd like to check in? If there's anybody listening out there over on our EchoLink 449.350 repeater or our main 145.490 448.625 repeater, go right ahead. Well, just for posterity's sakes, just in case anybody is listening, we have our upcoming meeting next week, the 15th, April 15th. Bob Mesenbrink, NB0BN. Presentation will be on the Nano VNA, a handheld vector network analyzer, low-cost, high-performance vector network analyzer, LCD display, can be powered by a 3.7-volt battery. Known by most hobbyists as the Nano VNA, become most popular antenna analyzer in the community since its release in 2019. April 15th at the Lakewood Police Department in person and online, w0tx.org/meet. 6 p.m. for the Elmers session, 7 p.m. for the meeting. Is there anyone else? Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins. I have not heard from anyone over on the air just yet. Comments, questions, check-ins. Please call now.
KF0UUC, Chad and Highlands Ranch. Late check-in. Just turned it on. Just turned the radio on.
KF0UUC, Chad, got you checked in. Thank you so much for checking in. Yeah, it's been pretty quiet here so far. Nothing really yet. So no problem. If you have anything, let me know. But yeah, we're taking all check-ins, comments, questions, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. We have not heard from too many people just yet this evening. Please call now.
Net Control, please copy. Kilo, Charlie 3, November Hotel Echo via EchoLink.
Gary, KC3 NHE got you loud and clear over on EchoLink. So thank you so much for checking in via that method. KC3 NHE, glad to hear you. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Glad to see that happening. I have not had that happen very frequently or at all. So, again, if anybody is listening out there, it might not be too many this evening, but again, you can download apps for EchoLink and AllStar Link. And if you're out of state or not in reach of our repeaters, but have a smartphone or computer, you can download an app, and as long as you have internet, you can talk over our repeater. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Go right ahead. This is K1 DBC Net Control, AllStar Link, the gift that keeps on giving. Actually, you can tie into Broadcastify quite easily. So I know that Kenny KD0CGF was mentioning this over our Sunday night net, but it's actually quite easy to tie in an AllStar Link repeater into a Broadcastify stream. So temporarily, I have a Broadcastify stream set up over on my QRZ page, K1 DBC. So if anybody wants to listen in on the nets, that's usually when I'll be tuned in, but for testing purposes only. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Again, over on my QRZ page, I updated that. There's quite a few links if anybody's interested. I've put some, exposed some AllStar stuff, some servers from my end over the internet. So it's a Raspberry Pi, and you could just check that out if you want. All right, well, this is K1 DBC Net Control. 10 minutes in here, we only have 3 check-ins. We're taking all check-ins, comments, questions, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Otherwise, we may start to wrap that up here. A little bit of a quiet evening this evening. Not too sure what's going on there, but that's all right. Comments, questions, check-ins, please call now. Let's see. I guess I will tell for the few people here. I was trying to test AllStar Link connecting into DMR Brandmeister, and successfully did it. Almost too successfully, though. The people over at DMR Brandmeister do not want people tying in analog repeaters, so my account was temporarily disabled, my personal DMR Brandmaster account, so I had to do a bit of groveling and begging to get it back up, but that's what happened. So just in case anybody is ever messing around with interlinking analog repeaters into DMR Brandmeister, make sure that you do it in a safe manner. So you'll get a scolding otherwise. Just anecdotally. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Please call now.
Net Control from KC3NHE. You mentioned you had an issue with the analog there. Was that using a DMR controller, or how were you connecting the DMR through that?
Over using AllStar Link on the same Raspberry Pi I've been talking about, there's also something called DV Switch. So it is a way to connect analog reflectors into digital. Let me just drop here for a moment.
0TX repeater.
I've disabled mine, but it's capable of interconnecting DMR, Yaesu System Fusion, D-Star. The problem I ran into is I accidentally spammed the talk group 91 for about 10 minutes. After everybody spoke, my repeater kept keying up. And so that was where I ran afoul. But this is how I run it. It's I'll have to see if I can bring up some better documentation, but they have a dvswitchgroups.io page as well.
Okay, yeah, roger. Yeah, if you tie up Talk Group 91, yeah, they're definitely going to get a little miffed about that, I'm sure.
Yeah, and absolutely. It was certainly not in the intention or anything, but yeah, I understand why they... So basically, I noticed that happening, and then I tried to log in, and then when I tried to log in, it gave me a message saying it was temporarily disabled. So that was great. So yeah, I understand it. So yeah, thankfully they gave a little bit of a scolding, but they did unlock it. So yeah, but there are ways to do it. I just need to figure out the safe way to do so. This is a K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, so if anybody's out there, so just be very careful about how this stuff works. And you should be able to do what you kind of need to do. So this is K1 DBC Net Control, though. Anyone else, comments, questions, check-ins, go right ahead. All right, we had a Rodney checking in over online. Really do appreciate that. Still studying, I believe. This is a K1 DBC Net Control. It's about a quarter till 8 p.m. Mountain Time. Just a few check-ins here so far. Anyone else? I didn't have a whole lot myself other than kind of what I've brought up so far. But anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Go right ahead.
Question about AllStar, KF0UUZ.
Yeah, Chad, KF0UUC. Go right ahead.
I see the links on your QRZ page and haven't used AllStar yet. I used EchoLink a few times. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. So, a question regarding your AllStar node that's on there. That's a link, do I understand correct? That's a link to your personal AllStar node, and if somebody were to like search that and connect to you, or connect to that node, it's going to be quiet, right? Unless you are also opening the app and connecting on your end. Is that kind of how that works? Similar to EchoLink? Back to net.
Yes, that is a correct assumption. It's a Raspberry Pi V3 that I have running in my basement, 3B, and I just have port forwarding set up, and I have my own domain as well. So that is pointing to my home, my Raspberry Pi personal one, and yeah, I the 68834, my AllStar node. I only use it really for testing. So yeah, if anybody were to connect to that randomly, it would normally be quiet. Yeah, as opposed to AllStar Link is not. I don't have a AllStar Link node or server. Excuse me. I think it's all cloud, but yeah, it does tie into my EchoLink. But yeah, I do not have a EchoLink server per se. But yeah, just the AllStar Link. Yeah. So if you have any other further questions on that, go ahead.
That helps. Thank you. Appreciate that. And then, do I understand correctly that repeaters, like this one we're on right now, on Guy Hill, that can, or some of them do have their own nodes that are always connected to the repeater, separate from anybody's personal nodes? Is that how those work as well? Back to net.
Yeah, I don't know the exact physical setup, but I'm pretty sure it's a very, very similar. If you've heard of Skylar Fennell or the Sky Hub link, I think he set us up with a AllStar node link. several years ago, skyhublink.com for more information on him. N2SKY. I was calling him by the wrong. Either way. Very similar setup. They have. I don't know what sort of internet connection they have. I think it's Comcast, or I'm not too sure, or it's a private microwave link. But it's very, very similar setup. A Linux-based machine set up at that repeater site, connected to the internet. And then connecting up in a very similar manner that mine is.
Okay, that helps. Thanks. Yeah, I'm just trying to wrap my head around the like EchoLink and AllStar system. So if a node, you can have one node per call sign is kind of what I'm assuming. And since a repeater might have its own call sign, which belongs to a group or something like that, then that repeater could have its own node on EchoLink, let's say, for example. Maybe I'm totally wrong about that first assumption about a repeater having its own call sign. Maybe that's not even true. Again, I'm just kind of trying to wrap my head around how all this works, and appreciate it. Back to you.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not too sure on that. I know that many groups interlink their repeaters in different EchoLink or AllStar link on one repeater, so I don't think there's any issue with that. Looking over at EchoLink, our call sign does have a -R, I'm guessing for repeater after our call sign, W0TX-R. So I don't know if that's the official call sign that's used on EchoLink. I don't know the how that works with how many nodes can be associated with certain call signs and things like that. So yeah, I'm not too sure. Yeah, this is a K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, anyone else out there on that or chat anything further on that? Go right ahead.
KC3NA2 a comment. Yeah, typically when you see that -R on there, that is for repeater because it is going into the actual repeater function. When you're on the EchoLink, you will see like a -1 or a -2 if it's an EchoLink node that others have had set up. I know there's a few of them. There's a real popular one in North Georgia. I can't remember what the actual call sign of it is now, but they have a -1, and then I believe they have a -2 also. They have two separate nodes they operate.
All right, perfect. Yeah, that would make sense. There might be some separation that's needed just for identification purposes. Yeah, that would make sense. You would have to know which repeaters are on or what not. So yeah, thank you so much for the follow-up on that, NHE. Really do appreciate that. So yeah, hopefully that helped answer the question there a little bit more, Chad. Or if you have anything further on that, go ahead.
0TX repeater.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you for that. Thanks for the net. Yeah, that helps. I have no follow-up questions on that. KF0UUC, back to net.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We just had a check-in there on our YouTube page, KC1YFS. Kevin from Chepachet, Rhode Island. Really do appreciate you checking here. This is K1DBC Net Control. If anybody's just tuning in, this is the Denver Radio Club LearnerNet, great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics. If you'd like to check in, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Please call now.
This is Alpha Foxtrot, 0 Echo, Alex. with a question.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control at Alpha Fox 0 Echo. Alex with a question. Anyone else, though, wants to check in just at the moment, please call now. All right, nothing heard. Alpha Fox 0 Echo. Alex, the net is yours.
Yeah, the question I have is about this online check-in. You go to this, Google, obviously, document, but it's in the U-only mode. Is that how it was designed, or should I be able to check in myself? I sent a couple of requests to requiring the edit mode, but nothing happened yet. Over.
Good question. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Unfortunately, we still haven't really built in a way to do that. I don't know. Yeah, we gave you read-only permission. My apologies on that. We just haven't gotten into the habit yet of testing that or trying that, I guess. I guess we'll probably just need to open it up on a Sunday or on another week maybe and try it. Because it's just something we haven't tried before, but it is read only, unfortunately, and editor only for the net control operators. So, but we'll probably try to open it up and maybe just test and see how that works in the next week or so.
Oh, all right. I just wanted to make sure what to expect. This is Alpha Fox 0 Echo.
All right, sounds good. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, we've been trying to figure out a way to make it so that somehow you can check in, self-check in, and at the same time it won't interfere with the net control. So we'll see how that works out. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Again, w0tx.org/check-in, just an in-house spreadsheet built to take check-ins. Unfortunately, not self-check-ins just at the moment, but if anybody has any knowledge of spreadsheets or forms and can make it happen in a clean way, let me know. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, please call now.
KC3NHE here. Doran, you've definitely piqued my interest with this spreadsheet check-in. If you could you give me a copy of that to my email? It's kc3nhe@gmail. I'll definitely take a look at that. And my missus is a whiz with spreadsheets and Excel. Maybe we can help you out there, and I'd like to see if we can expand on that on our end. So.
Yeah, that'd be excellent. Thank you, Gary. KC3NHE used to be able to make a copy of it even when you're not signed in. I'll have to see if I can re-edit that. But I will make sure to get that sent out to you. Thank you so much. Sorry, just making a note there of that. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else, though? Comments, questions, check-ins? Go ahead.
Kilo 4 Romeo November Yankee Mobile, just late check-in.
K4RNY. Ronnie, got you checked in. This is K1 DBC Net Control, getting a little bit sidetracked there in my own stuff here. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? It's been a fairly quiet evening here so far. Only 8 check-ins here. Very quickly to recap, our main repeater here is interlinked with our EchoLink repeater. So if you have EchoLink app on your phone or computer, EchoLink 4140, you can talk on there, or our AllStar link node 42851. Upcoming meeting next week. Nano VNA, a dozen uses for the average hand by Bob Mesenbrink, NB0BN. Same call sign, same forward as it is backwards. Meeting online as well as in person, w0tx.org/meet. Google Meet link. All of this is over on our website, w0tx.org, on the latest post here. And in person at the Lakewood Police Department. So instructions on how to access that site if you'd like, in person or online via our website, w0tx.org. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Any other check-ins at the moment? We're taking all check-ins A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I know I keep on harping on about AllStar Link, but just in case anybody is interested, it's a free, basically an operating system, Raspberry Pi based essentially, or Linux. So you can download it for yourself and run it at home for free in a VM or PC running Linux, again, or Raspberry Pi. So if anybody's interested in kind of safely playing around with how our repeater works or other AllStar Link repeaters, you can essentially set up a nodeless link. You download software, and there are tutorials online, but you don't need a radio to play around with the radio. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Go right ahead.
0TX repeater.
This is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else at the moment? I'll see if I have anything else. But comments, questions, check-ins, please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I should probably do a little bit more research on this before I bring it up, but I was listening to some other AllStar Link node or something, and they were mentioning a program called Thetis, Thetis, Tango Hotel, Echo Tango, India Sierra. Advanced high-performance software-defined software tailored for open HP SDR-based radios. So I wonder if anybody's had any experience with that or has heard about that. Go right ahead. I think looking over on their GitHub, they think they just stopped supporting it, actually. I was trying to find some videos and images before, and it's just I couldn't really find a whole lot about it. But it sounded like a pretty interesting project. I couldn't really get my head around exactly what it was for. But anyone else though on that, go right ahead. All right, well, that was a bit of a non-starter on that one. My apologies. This is K1 DBC Net Control. There was a question in the chat there, KC1YFS, about the Nano VNA presentation. That will be streamed on YouTube live as well. It will be archived. So yeah, just in case anybody is wondering, the Nano VNA presentation next week will be recorded over on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club, for watching after the fact. Let's see, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Comments, questions, check-ins. Comments, questions, check-ins. We're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know if you have any comments or questions. Please call now.
KF0 UUC question.
Chad, KF0 UUC, the net is yours.
Question about your AllStar node that you built with the Raspberry Pi. Well, you probably already explained this, so I apologize if you have already told us, and I think it's very likely, but how did you talk on that AllStar node? Like, what's your physical interface? Do you have it? Do you have like a small, or like a low wattage radio attached to the Raspberry Pi unit, or are you just connecting to the Raspberry Pi unit with headphones and microphones and things like that? Back to you.
This is K1 DBC Net Control. Great question. Great question there. Oops, hold on. Because I have an interest in telephony, I set up a what's called SIP. So basically, the behind the scenes of AllStar and I think EchoLink, a lot of these modes is what's called Asterisk. It's a free and open source framework for building communications applications such as voice over IP, PBX systems. So at its core, it's really a phone system. At its core, it's really just a phone system, and I can set up basically a soft phone. So just like at work, you would have like a Cisco or a via IP phone, a physical phone. Instead of those phones plugging into analog lines, they use Ethernet and internet. And you can set up what's called a soft phone, which is essentially the same thing, but in software. So I set up initially there's a program called MicroSIP, SIP, Session Initiation Protocol, I think is what it stands for. But it just allows for phone calls. So that's how I initially made communication with that node. Let me drop here for a moment. I have installed on my computer right now, but it's not actually working on this computer that I'm on right now. But basically, I can dial into my node and then start sending DTMF tones, and there's Vox capability where it just starts transmitting on my voice, or there's By default, if I dial *99, it enables push to talk, and then # it disables it. More traditionally, though, what you were mentioning, though, there is a hotspot for analog. So that is what I am here, or using it here recently with, is an analog hotspot, more or less a 1 watt output hotspot, UHF capable. So I've programmed it for a UHF frequency, and that is actually how I communicate with it at the moment, using just a standard Bofang UV82 radio.
Wow, yeah, you made a project out of that. It sounds like a lot of fun, and you connected a few different ways. Curious, when people use the hotspot method, which UHF frequency do you choose? Do you sort of listen around a bit to make sure one is free, or is there one that's kind of allocated or suggested for that type of use? Just curious how you pick that for that setup back to net.
Yeah, I did make a bit of a project out of it, but that's kind of the stuff I do love doing. This is K1DBC Net Control. At least here in Colorado, we have the Colorado Council of Amateur Radio Clubs. They are the coordination and support body for frequencies. So they do have a frequency coordination guidelines on hotspots, and I kind of just went under the assumption that it's for analog and digital, anything using low power, less than 1 watt. So I followed the same guidelines that they had there. So I picked one of the frequencies that they had mentioned. Let me see here.
0TX repeater.
They have hotspots simplex allowed in 438.450 and 438.700. So I picked something with out to 4 digits after the decimal, just hopefully won't interfere with anybody, as well as I put a PL a tone for transmit and receive on it. So hopefully I shouldn't be interfering with anybody on that. So hopefully that's the best guidelines on that.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's something I still like to learn more about. Those guidelines, I'm assuming they're out there. I thought those guidelines would be AARL or like nationwide. But you're saying you looked it up, or the guidelines or band plan for Colorado region. Is that right? Back to that.
Yeah, only because I had heard of them before. You can visit their website, ccarc.net, Charlie Alpha Romeo Charlie.net. Colorado Council of Amateur Radio Clubs. But that is, I'm not too sure how that works nationwide or locally. I don't know the why it's handled locally here. Maybe just the ARL doesn't want to have to deal with that, or the FCC doesn't want to have to deal with that, so they put that onto the local states. This is a K1DBC Net Control. I'm sure there's probably something in other states as well, though. But that is how I did find that.
I appreciate that, Drone. Thank you for good information. I'm out of questions at the moment. This is KF0UUC. Back to net.
Great question there. Yeah, let's see. Just some cursory research. Let's see. ARL.org/frequency-coordinators. ARL is not a frequency coordinator, nor does the ARL certify coordinators. Their volunteers normally appointed by a coordinating body. ARL reports only the fact of coordination, of non-coordination as instructed by the coordinating body. A bit of a mouthful here. Let me see here. See the bottom paragraph here. At this time, ARL cannot verify whether the National Frequency Coordinators Council is still in existence or operational. If you have a frequency coordination issue for VHF, UHF repeaters, you should try to determine the coordinator in your state and work through them. The ARL does not coordinate repeaters as part of their mission, so that's pretty interesting. And the organization and purpose of the CCARC, just the top blurb here, it's Organization of Amateur Radio Clubs, Association of Individuals Incorporated as nonprofit group under the laws of State of Colorado, Voluntary Association of Amateur Radio Operators, repeater system owners, and interested parties. Collectively determined that the coordination of repeater systems is essential to maximize the finite spectrum resources allocated to amateur radio and minimize the interference between systems. The success of the CCARC coordination effort is solely dependent on those amateurs who actively cooperate and participate in spectrum management and contribute to coordination process. The frequency coordinator is elected by majority votes of the current CCARC general membership on even-numbered years. The committee is a standing committee consisting of a chairperson, vice chairperson, and frequency coordinator appointed by the frequency coordinator staff. This is a PDF document, again, over from the CCARC website under how to coordinate and frequency coordination policy. Bit of a lengthy document here. $8:15. I'm glad we were able to stretch this out, as it were. I appreciate everyone who has been able to participate here so far. I know it's been a bit of a quiet evening, but still pretty good topics brought up here and stuff we haven't really spoken about too often. So, yeah, anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Please call now.
Question K4RNY.
Yeah, Ronnie, K4RNY, the net's yours.
Thanks, Jerome. I haven't messed with much with AllStar at all. I was wondering, did you build your hotspot, and what all did that entail if you did?
This is K1DBC Net Control. Give me just a minute here. Sorry, I was trying to bring up there's a pretty good YouTube webpage. Ham Radio Crusader has a lot of good tutorials on this. The first part is not too difficult. It's if you've ever imaged a Raspberry Pi, you basically download an image using the Raspberry Pi imager. You put a SD card into your computer, you write that image onto it, stick it into a Raspberry Pi, boot it up, and then you'll have SSH access into it and a web interface. So you can then administrate it through the web interface. You'll basically set up a few usernames and passwords. You have to make sure you have an AllStar node set up via the AllStar website itself. And then you go through the settings to configure it. It's a little bit of a lengthy thing here. Let me see if I can quickly. lot of command line based stuff to begin with. You basically set up, if you do have a physical radio, you set up the options for the radio options. If you have no radio, there's an option for no radio. You connect it into AllStar Link, you set up your node. And that's kind of it really to set it up. There's a bunch of commands, but it really doesn't take a whole lot to actually have it reporting into the AllStar stats. There's stats.allstarlink.com, to set it up, it really wasn't all that difficult.
You need to have a different board for like the radio side of it on the Raspberry Pi, like on an MMDVM board. K4.
Luckily, you don't. You can. That is an option. There are ways to set it up, though. There is a way to use the DV Switch mobile software on your phone. So there is a way to set it up without any additional boards. The one that I do have is an external one through USB, but there are ways to set it up without a radio, and there are ways to interact with it without a radio. It's just a little bit more complex, but there are several different ways to interact with it.
Yeah, thank you. I think I like Hammer-Rated Crusader. He's got some good stuff out there. Thanks. I think it's another project I need to dig into. K4RNY.
This is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, you can use either the official AllStar link, or there's also one called hamvoip.org. I think they have a pre-built image. Some people might find that a little bit easier. So a couple of different options. And yeah, check out Ham Radio Crusader, because he has a pretty good series of how to set these up. So I know I'm not doing a very good job of doing that, but yeah, basic setup is actually not too difficult, but then there are a lot of other options. You can, again, hook up into EchoLink, which is not all that difficult. It's just some commands, or it's just some things you have to run and configure. You can set it up so it, just like our repeater, chimes off the hour at the top of the hour. There's a whole lot of stuff you can do. So yeah, the basic stuff is not actually too difficult if anybody is interested in that. See, we had a question in the chat here by Rodney asking if anybody uses a Comet Charlie X-Ray 333 antenna. Looks like it's a tri-band VHF, UHF, 112 megahertz, 1.2 gigahertz, 200 watt max. So that's kind of interesting. I wonder what kind of usage you would get out of that with those three types of bands. Maybe a satellite potentially. Yeah. Anyone else on the Comet X333 supporting the 2 meters, 70 centimeter, and 1.2 gigahertz band? All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I haven't heard anything just yet. Just looking at the Amazon reviews, just seeing if I can... maybe that is a typo. I think that is a typo. I think that's 220 megahertz. That would make a whole lot more sense. That's usually the tri-band type of antenna. Go to the official Comet website here. Yeah, that was a typo over on the Amazon link. That's always nice to see. That's I have no idea how that would happen. Let me see. Yeah, 220 megahertz. So anybody have a tri-band antenna that they've have used before? 2 meter, 77 meter, and 220 megahertz. I forget that band. 1.25 meters, so that's maybe how the Amazon link got screwed up there. 1.25, not 1.2G. Yeah, 1.25 meter band. Yeah, it depends on if you have a 220 megahertz repeater, 1.2 meter repeater around you. I know that we do. I have not used it though. Yeah, not heard anything. This is K1DBC Net Control. Just a real quick question on there on the, has anybody used a tri-band antenna, 2 meter, 70 centimeter, and 1.25 meters? Any reviews of antennas you've used in the past, or any experience with our 1.25 meter repeater? Please call them. All right, one more thing on AllStar. Was messing around with something. There's actually a phone number that you can dial and dial into our repeater. You do need an AllStar account. There's a PIN code on your on your portal when you log in. But basically, there's a phone number, US-based, 763-230-0000. If you dial into there, you can then dial into an AllStar link node, which is kind of funny to do. So I did test that yesterday, and that does work. So if anybody's ever interested dialing from a telephone, we don't have reverse auto patch. I'm trying to figure out. You can't dial out from the repeater, but you can dial in to the repeater.
Now, when you dial into that repeater, is it like listen only, similar to like a voice over IP type thing, or can you actually participate within the conversation as well?
You can actually listen in, or you can participate in the conversation as well. Looks like they have Vox. When you do enter, it asks you if you want to use Vox or if you want to use the commands. Looks like it is *99 to transmit and # to stop transmitting, but it is transmit as well. Yes, which is pretty cool.
That is very interesting. This is the first I've heard of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly the first time I had heard of that as well. I kind of just, I think, randomly found a website that showed that. I was trying to figure out how to set up Autopatch from my end on my own personal node using Google Voice for free, at least. I haven't really figured that out yet, but somehow I stumbled upon a link that showed some phone numbers, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, this is a K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, anyone else on that? We have just a couple more minutes though. Go right ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Real quick on that, I know I used a word there, Autopatch. If anybody hasn't heard of that before cell phones were prevalent, it allowed people to dial public telephone numbers from radios and in reverse dial essentially a phone number which would dial directly in to that repeater. Not many repeaters really have that anymore. It's the cost. I mean, it costs to purchase phone numbers and support that. So it's a little bit of a burden. But if anybody is interested, Autopatch, pretty cool. Some repeaters do still have it around. So yeah, check it out. All right, well, we're about to tick over to 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time. I know it's been a bit of a quiet net, but still quite lively. Really do appreciate everyone who's checked in. We'll take this opportunity. Any other last-minute comments, questions, check-ins, please call now.
0TX repeater.
Just real quick on your auto patch there. I'm very surprised to hear that that's still in use. That used to be a very popular thing, and a number of amateur radio operators here in our area used it actually all the way up through Desert Storm to connect service members to families local here on the stateside, long before they had satellite comms and things of that nature.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would make absolutely a whole lot of sense. Yeah. And luckily, it's actually just built into AllStar. Yeah, we didn't actually have to set up any phone number to have that happen, which is pretty cool. So this is just a feature and functionality built in on their end, probably very, very unknown, but no auto patch settings on our end that we had to do. So it looks like it's just a built-in feature to most AllStar link nodes, which is pretty cool. Well, excellent. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Can't thank everyone for checking in. Yeah, thanks, Gary, for checking in over our EchoLink. Glad to see that is working quite well. KC3NHE. Everyone who's checked in over our YouTube and over on our repeaters. Can't thank everyone enough. One last opportunity. Any other last-minute final check-ins, comments, questions? Please call now.
And one's ATT for the check-in.
N1ZTT, got you checked in. All right, well, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Again, we are looking for net control operators. Again, the fourth Wednesday of the month is the board meeting, and since N0TRP Jim isn't going to be able to take that fourth Wednesday of the month, it may be on or off for the next couple of months, depending on the availability and how long the board meetings run. If anybody is interested in running net control on the 22nd of this month, please send me an email, Kilo1 Delta Bravo Charlie at w0tx.org. We'll get you set up with the net script and our check-in sheet. Next week, the 15th, April 15th, is going to be our in-person and hybrid meeting, so nothing over the air. But again, 6 p.m. Mountain Time for something very similar to this evening's net. Call it the Elmers session, but it's same thing, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. w0tx.org/meet or in person at the Lakewood Police Department. And then 7 p.m. for our meeting presented by Bob Mesenbrink, NB0BN, on the Nano VNA. Will also be streamed and archived on youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. So if you're unable to make it, you can always watch it after the fact. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Again, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club to view past meetings and nets. Tonight we had a total of 8 check-ins. Can't thank everyone enough who participated. We especially thank and appreciate and thank our Elmers. Thanks to the Denver Radio Club for allowing us to use their repeaters for this net. Again, join us on the third Wednesday of the month, 6 p.m. Mountain Time for an Elmer session prior to the regular scheduled Denver Radio Club meeting at 7 p.m. That'll be next week. w0tx.org for more information. Everyone, licensed or unlicensed, member or not, everyone is welcome. So with that, 7.3, I will be clear, and I will go ahead and disconnect our EchoLink repeater. This is K1DBC Net Control 7.3.